Good evening, I'm Beth Farnsworth.
And I'm CJ Ward. We begin at 6 with the fifth day of anti-ICE demonstrations in downtown Los Angeles. President Trump doubled the number of National Guard troops deployed to LA to 4,000. 700 Marines are also there. LA Mayor Karen Bass is insisting the uninvited military presence is unnecessary, and she accuses the president of escalating tensions there.
And Governor Newsom asked a federal judge today for a temporary restraining order to block troops from engaging in law enforcement activity like searches and arrests. President Trump said that he has not ruled out invoking the Insurrection Act. He added that troops will remain in Los Angeles, quote, until there is no danger, end quote.
And let's turn to some political commentary on this. Former State Senator Hannah-Beth Jackson has the Democratic opinion.
And former Santa Barbara City Councilman Dale Francisco, of course, providing the conservative opinion. And let's start with you, Dale. Even before we started getting on toward the set and sitting down, you were talking protest versus riot. Your opinion.
So I have heard people call this a peaceful protest. And obviously there's no problem at all with people protesting ICE agents in Los Angeles. That's fine. If they want to walk around and carry signs, that's great. What they can't do, however, is set cars on fire, drop cement blocks from freeway overpasses onto police cars, attack the police, attack ICE agents with fireworks. That is way, way beyond peaceful protest. That's a riot. There's no other way to describe it. And the president is entirely justified by federal statute to do what he's done. When there, according to Title 10, some section or other, when there is rebellion or threat of rebellion, or when the regular officers can't execute federal law, the president can call up the National Guard of any state. And so Governor Newsom, he can try to take this to court if he wants to. He's not going to win.
Okay.
Hannah-Beth?
Well, you know, there is something called the right to assemble and to protest. And what you've mentioned were 2 or 3 very isolated events, and the LAPD and law enforcement was handling those situations. Nobody supports that kind of behavior. It's inappropriate, no question. It's illegal, it's criminal, and 100 or 200 people were arrested for that. That is a local issue. This is really an excuse by Donald Trump to divert attention, frankly, from his failed, unpopular, and disastrous presidency. Protesting, again, a constitutional right. But this is a diversion. The prices that he claimed were going to go down are going up. He had an ugly fight with Elon Musk the other day, who referred to his big, beautiful bill, which I think we're going to be talking about, as a disgusting abomination. The economy is not growing. He hasn't been able to end the wars in Ukraine and Gaza. Tariffs are going to increase costs. The public doesn't like them. And of course, his big, beautiful bill, which is going to take people off of Medicare, is highly unpopular. This is just another example of Trump trying to divert attention and put California and Californians at risk for actually exercising their constitutional rights to object. This isn't a rebellion. This is people who said you have gone way too far in your efforts to supposedly control illegal immigration.
Okay, do you want to respond?
Hannah-Beth, I'm sure you feel differently about this, but according to the polls, Trump's popularity is going up, not down. The economy is getting better, and I think that the memories of the BLM riots in 2020 are important, and they're probably making Trump think he let things get out of hand. For instance, in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, Governor Walz ignored the riots in Minneapolis. Mayor Frey ignored the riots. He actually told the police to stand down. And as a result, Minneapolis lost its downtown business district.
Dale, nobody knows riots better than Donald Trump and the January 6th insurrection. I mean, to say that he was concerned about the BLM riots, and yet he provoked a potential insurrection to try to keep from having the votes of the actual election counted. So I'm not sure that's a very good argument for Donald Trump.
All right, let's go on to the next one. I know we could go on with that one for a while. The next topic, though, President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill passed through Congress and is now making its way through the Senate. The controversial budget bill includes tax breaks, spending cuts, border security funding, and much more. Revenue lost from the proposed tax cuts would be offset by cuts to clean energy initiatives, public media like NPR and PBS, and Medicaid.
And the Congressional Budget Office released an estimated projecting that the bill would add nearly $2.5 trillion to the deficit. That's over a span of the next 10 years. The White House pushed back on the findings, saying that it is confident in the economics of the bill. President Trump hopes to have the legislation passed by the 4th of July. Dale?
Yeah, so I know you probably think this is a big, beautiful bill, right?
Actually, as a fiscal conservative, I've never seen a beautiful congressional budget bill in my life.
Okay.
And this one is no exception. However, there are good things in this bill. And if we're ever going to end the constant controversy over immigration in this country, one of the things that we need to do, obviously, is secure the border. So the idea of finally building the border wall, there's funding for 700 miles of border wall, there's funding for 10,000 new ICE agents, there's funding for new holding facilities, doubling the size of the holding facilities that ICE has at its disposal. That's all good. In the increase in the Defense Department budget, $150 billion for defense, one of the most important things that I think most people don't even know is there is $25 billion to get the so-called Golden Dome project started. Missile defense is an absolute necessity. Both Russia and China are pursuing hypersonic weapons, space weapons, and we need to stay ahead of them. That's the only way that we can prevent war.
Hannah?
Well, let's get to what's really the important elements of the bill in how this is truly a transfer of wealth from the poorest to the richest Americans. This is a billionaire tax scam. It's going to throw between 14 and 16 million Americans off of their health care. It's going to destroy the options of people that people have for Medicaid, seniors, veterans, children. It's going to end up closing hospitals as a result of removing this care so that they can give tax breaks to the rich. It's going to blow, as you said, an additional $2.4 trillion into our budget. Trump has essentially closed the border at this point in time, so who knows what the need of a wall that people will find a way to get over if they desperately need to. It's also got hidden items in it. It's going to defund Planned Parenthood. It's going to prohibit states from regulating AI in their states for 10 years. Artificial intelligence will run amok as a giveaway to the tech industry. It gives Trump the ability to ignore court orders without the ability to find him in contempt of court. It gives away more and more to the, it takes away good credits for renewable energy, gives the oil and gas industry lots of additional tax credits into hundreds of billions of dollars, and opens up about 300 million acres of public lands for more oil drilling. Now, is that a big, beautiful bill or what Elon Musk called a disgusting abomination?
Dale, rebuttal?
Elon Musk is, like me, is a fiscal conservative, and I understand why he's not happy with the bill. But Elon Musk doesn't understand politics. Trump understands it much better now. There's a very narrow Republican majority in the House, and a lot of compromises had to be made to get this bill through. Now, Hannah Beth, I think your interpretation of some of these facts is a little different than mine, but I'll just talk back to one of the points that you mentioned, and that is the big, beautiful bill does reduce subsidies for so-called green energy that is unreliable. And the more, it has been shown that the more solar and wind that you introduce into power grids, the more unstable the power grid becomes. And that's why Governor Newsom backed down on closing Diablo. I'm sure somebody sat down with him in a room and explained, if we get rid of 9% of California's reliable energy, we're going to have brownouts and blackouts regularly. So what Trump is doing in reducing the subsidies for unreliable energy and increasing them for reliable is good for the American people.
Except the technology is getting more and more perfected, and there have been hundreds of millions of dollars invested in green energy that are proving to be positive. Diablo is staying open only because the time to transition to green energies has been extended. So
the transition will never happen.
Well, I hope you and I are around long enough and I can say you were wrong.
I hope so too.
Dale Francisco, Hannah Beth Jackson,
Thank you both so much.
you both. We can obviously talk about this for the duration of the evening. All right.